Hello everyone, welcome to back my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Roman Reigns has not appeared on WWE television since he was attacked by Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker at Raw after WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. His absence has created a power vacuum within the Stamford-based promotion, and Rollins and his heel crew are exerting their dominance on the red brand. The OTC might return soon, with reports predicting his potential return in June before the Money in the Bank 2025 PLD. Reigns could also shock the world with his surprise comeback at the upcoming Saturday night's Main Event 2025, during Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker vs. CM Punk and Sami Zayn. Here, we will look at 3 things Roman Reigns could do once he returns to World Wrestling Entertainment. Roman Reigns will likely come back to get revenge on Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker for attacking him on Raw after WrestleMania. However, the undisputed tribal chief would have to make sure he has someone to watch his back, or he might once again be outnumbered. As a result, Reigns could come prepared and form the Shield 2.0, alongside CM Punk, putting all their differences aside and standing shoulder to shoulder to take on the common enemy. This would also lay the foundation for the much-anticipated tag team bout featuring Reigns and Punk teaming up against Rollins and Breaker. The original tribal chief has a history of being betrayed by the ones closest to him. The most recent one came at WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas. Paul Heyman shocked the world when he double-crossed Punk and Reigns at the Showcase of the Immortals, joining forces with Seth Rollins, who had the last laugh at Mania. For the first time in 5 years, Roman Reigns is standing alone. As the tribal chief, the 39-year-old superstar needs a Wiseman. Upon his return to WWE, the former undisputed champion could introduce a new Wiseman. Real-life Bloodline member, Rikishi may become Reigns' new special counsel. In the past, Rikishi has expressed interest in participating in Bloodline storylines if needed, but he hasn't made an appearance on programming yet. The former undisputed WWE champion was shocked by the fact that his Wiseman, Paul Heyman, betrayed him at the Showcase of the Immortals and aligned himself with his arch-rival Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are set to face Punk and Zayn in a tag team bout at Saturday night's Main Event 2025. However, Reigns could play a vital role and abduct Paul Heyman before the show, creating an interesting angle, and might reveal it during the tag contest, creating an unforeseen situation. Roman Reigns has been missing in action since his monumental loss at WrestleMania 41, where he was finally dethroned after an epic championship run that redefined an era. Fans and insiders alike have speculated when and how the tribal chief will return, and what kind of Roman Reigns we'll see when he does. With the bloodline fractured, Solo Sikoa stepping into a new leadership role, and Paul Heyman's loyalty in question, WWE is primed for a seismic return that could shake the entire industry. Here are 3 major storyline-driven directions for how Roman Reigns could return and potentially dominate WWE once again. A new Wiseman rises, the return with a surprising advisor. One of the most symbolic elements of Roman Reigns' tribal chief persona has been his association with Paul Heyman, the Wiseman who helped him evolve into the ruthless and calculating leader of the bloodline. But the alliance has shown cracks ever since Solo Sikoa began asserting dominance, and Heyman has found himself increasingly out of favor with the new regime. WWE could capitalize on this tension by having Roman Reigns return with a brand new Wiseman, a figure who challenges the status quo and represents the new Roman, reformed, enraged, and more strategic than ever. The new Wiseman doesn't have to be a traditional manager. Imagine a shock twist where Triple H, tired of the chaos within the bloodline and seeking to preserve the legacy of WWE, decides to align himself with Roman in a cerebral alliance. Triple H wouldn't manage Reigns, but guide him as a backstage strategist, perhaps revealing that he was behind Reigns' absence and reformation. Alternatively, WWE could reach into its deep well of talent and bring in someone like William Regal. Regal's calculated demeanor, gravitas, and deep knowledge of wrestling psychology could add a fresh layer to Roman's character. Regal as Wiseman would signal Roman's shift from brute dominance to a more cold, cerebral style of warfare, one where every action is a chess move. With a new Wiseman in place, Roman would be poised not just to reclaim titles, but to rebuild his empire in his own image. The bloodline may be splintered, but a reborn tribal chief with new philosophy could be the most dangerous version yet. The Shield 2.0, Roman Reigns builds the new brotherhood. When The Shield debuted in 2012, it changed WWE forever. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose stormed onto the scene as a ruthless unit, leaving destruction in their wake. While the original trio has long since gone their separate ways, fans still yearn for the energy, aggression, and unity The Shield brought to WWE. But what if Roman decided to rebuild something similar? A new faction with the raw power of The Shield, but with a more tribal, militant energy. With the bloodline in chaos and trust eroded between Reigns and Solo Sikoa, Roman could opt to form a new brotherhood, Shield 2.0, not bound by family, but by loyalty and warlike purpose. Imagine Roman returning at a premium live event, perhaps at SummerSlam or even Survivor Series, standing tall in the ring as two shadowy figures flank him in black tactical gear. The lights drop. The crowd erupts. Who are these men? WWE could introduce breakout NXT stars like Braun Breaker or Javon Evans into the fold. Or take it a step further by pulling in underutilized but hungry main roster talent like Ricochet, who's ready for reinvention, or even bring back a returning Tommaso Ciampa in a darker role. These men wouldn't just follow Reigns, they'd believe in his mission to correct WWE, to tear down the chaos caused in his absence. The Shield 2.0 wouldn't be a nostalgia act. It'd be a new force. Roman would be less of a brother and more of a general. Their tactics would be precise. Their motives, ideological. It wouldn't just be about winning. It'd be about cleansing WWE of false kings and disloyal factions. Vengeance and fire. Roman returns to burn down the bloodline. Of course, the most personal and perhaps the most explosive route for Roman Reigns' return would be pure vengeance. Solo Sikoa has not only attempted to assume leadership of the bloodline but has done so with violence, betrayal, and a ruthless ambition that mimics early Reigns, but without the wisdom or restraint. With Jimmy Uso broken and Jey Uso now completely removed from the family's saga, the soul of the bloodline is lost. Roman's return could come as a judgment, not as a leader reclaiming his throne, but as a god returning to destroy the false prophets in his house. Imagine a Raw or SmackDown segment where Solo Sikoa addresses the WWE Universe, proclaiming himself the new head of the table. He's flanked by new members, perhaps Jacob Fatu or even a surprise debut like Silla Fatu. The lights dim. A tribal beat plays, but this time it's not Solo's theme. It's Roman's. He walks down with slow, deliberate intent, not in his golden glove and tribal beads, but in dark, war-torn gear, reminiscent of a gladiator returning from exile. He says nothing. He just looks at the men who betrayed him, the family that crumbled without him, and then unleashes hell. Steel chairs, spears, Superman punches, and all-out war erupts. This wouldn't be a return to reclaim. It'd be a return to destroy. Roman would vow to dismantle what the bloodline has become, to burn it to the ground. No alliances, no backup. Just pure tribal fire. And the best part, this version of Roman wouldn't chase championships right away. He'd be after redemption, vengeance, and an emotional purge of everything that was twisted in his absence. That kind of layered storytelling would take WWE into a rich, cinematic arc, making Reigns more compelling than ever before. Bonus possibility: Roman vs. Cody 2 with new stakes. It's impossible to talk about Roman Reigns without acknowledging the man who finally defeated him, Cody Rhodes. Their WrestleMania 41 main event closed a chapter in WWE history, but it may have opened a more dangerous one. Should Roman return with the intention of proving that Cody's victory was a fluke, that he only lost because of interference, betrayal, and chaos? WWE could be setting up an inevitable rematch with the highest possible stakes. Not for the title, not for the bloodline, but for legacy. Roman vs. Cody 2 could headline WrestleMania 42, with both men having taken different paths. Cody, the champion who fights for the people. Roman, the fallen king fighting for his own soul. It's a match that doesn't need a belt. It needs pride, vengeance, and closure. In closing, Roman Reigns' return will redefine WWE again. No matter how WWE decides to script Roman Reigns' return, one thing is clear: he will not come back as the same man. Whether he returns with a new Wiseman, reforms a devastating new version of the Shield, or seeks fire and blood vengeance against his own family, Roman Reigns has the power to reshape WWE once again. And this time, it won't be about titles. It'll be about truth. As the WWE Universe waits with bated breath, one question remains: when the Tribal Chief returns, who will kneel and who will burn? Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our WWE official YouTube channel for more update news.